Check something out. We good, we good. Let me know if we good. All right, let's see. What's going on, y'all? This is Marcus Rosa, a.k.a. Mazuma TV, back at y'all with another live, man. I hope everybody's having a blessed, beautiful, positive, productive night. I hope y'all had a great day overall, man. Back at y'all with some more boxing talk. We're going to talk about Zepeda predicting a 10th round knockout over Shakur Stevenson, Jaron Ennis versus Teofimo Lopez possibly being next, of course. And then we're going to get into some open boxing topics. You feel what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody that's in the building so far. If y'all can go ahead and hit the like button as soon as y'all come in, that'll be very much appreciated. You see what I'm saying? What's going on, y'all? What's going on? What's going on? Smoochie, what up? With the first comment of the day. Black Season. Coffee Plant. Stop Motion MMA. I ain't see you in a minute. How you doing, Stop Motion? What's going on? What's going on? Lorenzo. Rolling in the motherfucking benzo. Salute. Great Gambino. What up? Quality so much better this way. Well, this is not a coincidence, Smooshy. This is because we just got some new Wi-Fi put up in the crib. You feel what I'm saying? So that's the result of getting rid of shitty Wi-Fi and replacing it with actually quality Wi-Fi. I learned my lesson. So fingers crossed, everything continues to go well from a quality standpoint. You feel what I'm saying? And yeah, this shit look pretty clean. I ain't gonna lie to you. Shout out to the good Wi-Fi. Yeah, shout out to Xfinity, man. Shout out to Xfinity. I mean, I had to sit back at the crib, wait for the Wi-Fi person to come in, hook it up. You know what I mean? But it's looking pretty good. So, so far so good. You feel me? And as much as I'm paying for the motherfucker, it better be this crispy. That's all I know. Salute, salute. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? What we talking about, man? We got a few things we gonna talk about. Nothing too crazy. You feel what I'm saying? But before I get into that, we have officially hit 2.9K subscribers, man. We came a long way, but we closer to the 3K mark than we are far from it. You feel what I'm saying? Only need 100 more subscribers or whatever the case is to hit that 3K mark. I'm extremely proud of this accomplishment, man, of this milestone. We've been coming a long way, just building brick by brick. No big sponsors behind us, no big channels behind us whatsoever. You know what I mean? We get the shout outs here and there, but for the most part, you know what I mean? We doing this off of our own consistency. You feel what I'm saying? And I ain't got nobody to thank. What? Subscribe. Not gonna lie, when you get a cut, I feel like you could get a sharp lineup. I don't know what that means, brother. Every time I haven't had a haircut in probably like 2 weeks already. But every time I get a haircut, my haircut is always sharp. So I don't know what you're referring to, brother. But appreciate that, I guess. Marlon, what up? Great Gambino, what up? The Boxing Source, what up? No, we got a few people in the building. We got 27 people in the building. We need to get them likes up, man. Let's get these likes up. Shit, you don't know. What don't I know? What is he talking about? Anyways, I ain't tripping, bro. I don't give a fuck about a man's opinion at the end of the day. That's weird shit. But Smooshy, I appreciate that. Thank you. What's the deal with Tank and Ring Magazine? Great Gambino, I really don't know. I don't know exactly what came about in terms of, the Ring Magazine reaching out to Upton Boxing Gym or Coach Calvin Ford. I don't know exactly what's going on, but I do think, like I said yesterday on the live, if y'all didn't check it out, I think that was Turkey Al-Sheikh strategically trying to get over to Gervonta Davis' side. You know what I'm saying? Turkey Al-Sheikh has been doing everything he can to get the biggest fighters in the world a part of, like his company, his events and stuff like that, Riyadh season. What's the Slime, what up? Big Soldier MX, what up? But like I said, I think Turkey Al-Sheikh did that strategically to try to get close to Gervonta Davis, in hopes of working with him in the future. This is what I personally believe, and I'm surprised I didn't bring it up yesterday. This is my little, theory. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm putting my conspiracy theorist hat on or whatever the case is, but I'm going to tell y'all this. I think that this is what I think Turkey Al-Sheikh is attempting to do, right? And I don't think he's trying to mess with the fight that's currently in place right now That's gonna be Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach in August, right? That's a great fight for the sport of boxing, and it's really gonna show, what level Gervonta Davis is on. You feel what I mean? Did he have a slip up that night, or was that who he really is? That's just being exposed to the world. You feel what I'm saying? Rad Fit, what up? There's the questions are gonna be answered in August. You feel what I'm saying? But in all honesty, man, I think Turkey Al-Sheikh, as soon as that fight is over with Lamont Roach, I think that he's gonna do what he did with Canelo Alvarez and intercept the fight with Jake Paul. That's what I personally believe is gonna happen. So he's making his moves right now, trying to get over on Tank Good's side, so that when the Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach fight is over, I personally believe that he's gonna find a way into the picture, give Tank an amount of money that he can't refuse, and completely neglect the Jake Paul fight overall. That's what I personally believe is going to happen. So, because let's keep it real, the Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul fight is specifically a money grab. It's specifically a money grab. It has no significance. It's not meaningful at all. You feel what I'm saying? It is simply for the money, and it's not even going to be something that counts on the books. You feel what I mean? There's such a difference in weight, literally 60 pounds, that there's no way that a athletic commission could approve that to be a pro fight. Somehow, some way, they were able to make Mike Tyson and Jake Paul a professional bout, but that was because they were actually both heavyweights at the time. So, you know what I'm saying? They was able to make that ruling, even though Mike Tyson pushing 60 years old, if he's not already. I forgot how old he is. You know what I mean? But regardless, they was able to make that excuse because at least they was the same weight, right? There's a 60-pound difference between Tank and Jake Paul, so they can't even sanction it. Doesn't count for the books. They specifically doing it for the money, right? So Turkey Al-Sheikh is watching this. He cares about the sport of boxing to an extent, and he knows that he has fighters in his stable that could fight Gervonta Davis. That could be huge fights under Riyadh season. Huge fights under Riyadh season. You feel what I'm saying? So Turkey, like, man, I bet you I'll go offer a better number than fucking Jake Paul and completely take the fight away from him. He already did it with Canelo Alvarez. You feel what I mean? They talk about Canelo getting 80 M's a fight under Riyadh season. Jake Paul not offering that type of bag. So Canelo had no choice but to take that opportunity because he knew that Jake Paul wasn't offering that type of money. You feel what I'm saying? Let me see what's going on right now. Let me see what's going on in the comments. It's hard to see right here from the camera, so I'm gonna read it right here. Why my drawing look like a YouTube short? I don't know what you're talking about, brother. I don't know what slime I'm talking about. Hold on, let me bring the camera over here so y'all can actually see me. This one says right here. He said, "Do what Coffee said, and no one gets hurt." Absolutely, hit the likes for sure. If you don't like the live, Slime gonna hit you with the sledgehammer like Triple H. Pause. Slime said 80 M's a fight. Well, that's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing. Ain't nothing solidified. Turkey Al-Sheikh's purses don't really come out publicly all that often. So I'm not sure. But what I'm hearing is Canelo getting like 80 M's a fight. That's what I'm hearing. And Jake Paul said it was a $300 million deal. That's what Jake Paul said. It was a $300 million deal for 3 fights or some shit like that. So based off of that, man, if it sounds like $100 million fight, that's what Jake Paul said. But he might not. He might be on to something. He might actually be telling the truth. You know what I mean? He said he had the fight on the 1-yard line, and they had pretty much threatened Canelo Alvarez. Like, if you take that fight with Jake Paul, that 300 M's that you got with us is going to be gone. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It might be 100 M's. Who knows? Yep. Definitely smash that like button, man. Where we at with the likes? We got 21 people on the live with 11 likes. That's disgusting, man. Let's get it up. Let's get it up. That's definitely a lot of money, man. But when you Turkey Al-Sheikh and you pretty much run the entertainment department over at Saudi Arabia, that's like bread. I already done broke down the math and told y'all how much they make in a day. You know what I'm saying? And trust me, ADMs is the least of their concern. ADMs is the least of their concern. You feel me? So that's what I'm saying. Shout out to the boy Marlon in the building. He said, if you're a star boxer, joining Turkey is the right move. Look at the checks he's giving people. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Like that. And listen, um, a lot of these promoters, like we got to thank Turkey Al Sheikh in a sense because if it wasn't for Turkey Al Sheikh, a lot of these fights that he been putting on would have never got made. They would have fell victim to the politics of boxing. They would have fell victim to the greed that's apparent in the sport of boxing between promoters and fighters and stuff like that. Motherfuckers all pricing themselves. Like keep it 1,000. Well, all of the mishaps that Alexander Usyk and Fury was having, do you think we would have saw that fight twice without Turkey Al Sheikh? Absolutely not. Um, Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol was cooking up for a long time, but never manifest. It never manifests. Who do we have to thank for that? Turkey Al Sheikh. So we got to thank him for this. You feel what I'm saying? And I don't know if Shakur and Zepeda would have even got made without Turkey Al Sheikh for real, because even with Turkey Al Sheikh being around, Zepeda and Golden Boy was looking for any and every out to get up out of that fight. You know what I mean? They fell victim to the pressure. In all honesty, Oscar De La Hoya acted like he wasn't going to make the fight. But I guess they fall victim. I mean, they fall for whatever Turkey wants. You know what I mean? When you got the type of money that Turkey made, you can. When you put that type of money on the table that Turkey puts, there's going to be a lot of exceptions being made for him. You feel what I'm saying? So, this dude Slime be tripping. This dude Slime be tripping. But yeah, man. Let's talk about William Zepeda and Shakur Stevenson while we going over it, man. Let me actually pull up this quote right here. Let me actually type this in for y'all because I want to know exactly what y'all think about this whole situation. You feel me? Let me see. Ring Magazine. Shout out to Ring Magazine for pretty much becoming like the number one source for me in terms of boxing news and seeing what's going on in the boxing world. You feel me? Let me pull up this William Zepeda quote. This is William Zepeda's quote. This is not mine. William Zepeda says, my mindset is a stoppage. Maybe it could be in the 10th round. Maybe it could be earlier. Maybe it could be a little later. But I know that I have to get a stoppage. And that's William Zepeda on his thoughts on the Shakur Stevenson fight. Now, that actually caught, Shakur Stevenson's attention, and he brought it up during the press conference, but nobody really spoke about it too much. Now, this is my overall thoughts on the situation, man. I like where William Zepeda's mind frame is at. I like what he's thinking because if we being honest, like if we being objective, just as boxing fans and understanding that styles make fights, that's William Zepeda's best bet. That's honestly William Zepeda's best bet. You know what I'm saying? In all honesty, he needs to have that mentality that he needs a knockout, even if he knows, it's going to be very difficult to do so. I think that's his best bet of winning a fight against Shakur Stevenson. Now, let's think about it honestly. And that doesn't guarantee that William Zepeda does actually think he gets the floor mopped with him. That's just my personal opinion. I think that that them two Tevin Farmer fights that Zepeda had showed a lot about him in terms of like his skill set and his vulnerabilities, his weaknesses, the holes that he has in his game. I thought they were very apparent in them Tevin Farmer fights. And because I look at Shakur Stevenson as somebody that's being levels above, plural, levels above Tevin Farmer, I think that with the tools that Shakur Stevenson has, he could really expose William Zepeda even more. And I think he could ultimately embarrass the dude. I think that William Zepeda applies pressure. He's a high volume puncher, but there's a lot of holes in his defense. And to be honest with you, he has a lot of holes in his defense, and his IQ is not really up to par, if we being honest. If you don't have the tools necessary to keep William Zepeda up off you, like if you don't have a respectable jab punching power or, some type of lateral movement, you might be cooked. But Shakur Stevenson, fortunately, has those abilities. Shakur Stevenson places shots on the inside really well. He understands range really well. He got fast hands, and he has lateral movement. So he has all the tools necessary to defeat William Zepeda. And I think because Shakur Stevenson is a defensive specialist in my eyes, I think that there's going to be a lot of points in the fight where William Zepeda's volume is going to be neutralized. really think about this. When you stand in front of William Zepeda like Tevin Farmer did in spots, you get lit up, right? But with Shakur Stevenson, with him having an understanding of range and knowing how far his opponent is at all times, um, it's going to be very hard for William Zepeda to start to get his offense off of the ground. You feel what I'm saying? How are you going to be able to be a high volume puncher when you can't even get the range necessary to let your hands go? I think that we're going to see a gunshot William Zepeda because he's going to be struggling to find the range throughout the entire course of that fight. And I think that Golden Boy and William Zepeda's team, even William Zepeda himself, understand that Shakur possesses those abilities to make him miss a lot or give him a hard time establishing his range. And I think that's why they were really doing everything they could to get around the fight. You feel what I'm saying? I think Oscar De La Hoya, in all honesty, wanted to look at different sanctioning bodies because those other champions might have been easier to beat in comparison to Shakur Stevenson. If we look at things stylistically, whether we agree or disagree on who's the best champion at lightweight, I think that Shakur is the most difficult style to go up against. When we look at the other champions, let's look at Vasyl Lomachenko. Vasyl Lomachenko, he got great angles, he's experienced, but he's there to be hit. We've seen this man come off of the canvas. Gervonta Davis, he explosive, athletic, fast, got power, but we seen in the Lamont Roach fight, he's there to be hit. Keyshawn Davis, he a dog. He could box. You know what I'm saying? Great killer instinct. Great accuracy, fluid combinations. He got a good IQ. But Keyshawn, because he takes more chances than the Shakur Stevenson, he's there to be hit more. You feel what I'm saying? Shakur Stevenson, on the other hand, he has he does not give a fuck to make the fight boring. He already done said fuck the fans and all types of shit. He don't care to entertain y'all. It's all about the W for him. You know what I'm saying? So I think that'll be the most difficult style amongst all the other champions in the division because unlike Shakur, all those guys, you can have a chance of, touching. Shakur not gonna be there to be touched. You feel me? So I think that's why, Zepeda and his team didn't really want the fight initially. You feel me? But just looking over like his mindset and what his thoughts are going into the fight, I think that he has a good understanding of knowing that he can't sit there and box with Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson is one of the most skilled fighters in the world, and playing chess with him, considering the style that William Zepeda has and his lack of IQ, I think that'll be a huge mistake. The moment that he sits in front of Shakur and tries to play chess with him, it's going to be a straight 120, 108 scorecard all around the board. And that everybody going to criticize Shakur when they should be criticizing William Zepeda, right? Right. So I think that's William Zepeda's best bet. William Zepeda is going to have to get, and like I said in my previous lives, his best bet is to get in his Orlando Salido bag, man. He got to make this a tough, rugged fight. You know what I mean? He got to push Shakur up against the ropes. He got to make sure Shakur stay up on the rope. He's going to have to hit Shakur low, hit him on the hips. He's going to have to pull out every trick, every dirty trick that he got in his bag, he's going to have to bring out. You feel what I'm saying? Because he want to make Shakur as uncomfortable as possible. And if you got to bend the rules a little bit in order to do so, outside of using PEDs, he might have to do it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Headbutts, elbows, hip shots, low shots on the cup, like all types of shit. That's what I'm looking to do. If I'm William Zepeda, I'm getting in my Orlando Salido versus Lomachenko bag because if you fight any type of intelligent fight with Shakur Stevenson, he gonna style all over you. You know that you at a disadvantage. You at a disadvantage if you when you fight Shakur Stevenson in terms of skill set, IQ, movement, athleticism. He got you all around the board. And to be honest with you, Shakur Stevenson even faced better competition than you, if we being honest. So he's even more experienced than you at a pro level. I don't know if there's anything that you do better than Shakur Stevenson besides, being a volume puncher and applying pressure. That's the only advantages you got. And the only reason why that's an advantage for real is because that's your specialty. That's your bread and butter. That's literally all you got. I ain't never see Zepeda give a nigga a boxer lesson. I ain't never see him go on a back foot and run niggas into shots and turn them. And I ain't never seen none of that. All I ever seen was what Zepeda does in each and every fight. And has walked to you, put that pressure on you in hopes that you break. Hit you with body shots, fold you up type shit. I don't really think that's a smart move to approach Shakur Stevenson with. I think just a regular pressure fight is not gonna get it done. You're gonna have to dig in your bag of dirty tricks and get it done. You gotta make this a fucking brawl, bro. As soon as you get Shakur to get uncomfortable enough where he gotta fight you up off him, now you might have shit going in your favor. But if you just applying regular pressure, coming in flat footed, and you having trouble cutting off the ring, and you cross your feet all scrambled when he moving from right to left, you cooked, bro. You really cooked. Ooh, Smooth Will talking crazy. You see Smooth Will? He said Roach will not leave it to the judges next time. Tank's mind is weak. He popping that shit. He talking crazy. Yeah, he gotta make Shakur uncomfortable, y'all. That's his best bet. And even then, he might run into some shit because Tevin Farmer done push Zepeda on his ass, and he was never looked at as a big puncher. You know, Shakur Stevenson might have a little bit more pop on them punches than Tevin Farmer do. You feel me? And I think that, when he slipped a counter with that left hand in that first fight against Zepeda, I think it was just a sharp shot that he didn't see. And it was right on the money. Shakur, he might not throw many punches, but the punches he do land are sharp and they be on the money. So who's to say that Shakur can't put Zepeda on the canvas? Shakur fast enough and tricky and sneaky enough to hit Zepeda with a shot he can't see. Who's to say Zepeda won't hit the canvas? I'm almost willing to bet that Zepeda will hit the canvas against Shakur. If Shakur doing all this type therapy with his hands and he talking about he don't feel pain when he throw punches no more, he's not gonna be hesitant to let that shit go. And Zepeda don't got the sharpest defense. He's not the most wise defensively. So everybody keep talking about William Zepeda's power, his high knockout ratio. That shit sound good. You can have all the power in the world, but if you ain't laying this shit, what good is your power? Zepeda might throw more punches than Shakur. You know what I mean? He might take more chances than Shakur, but I like Shakur Stevenson's offense better than Zepeda's. And I'm almost willing to bet Tank. I mean, not Tank. Sorry, Shakur is gonna put Zepeda on that canvas. Yeah, coffee is one thing if you got a shit ton of power, but if every time you swing you miss, how valuable is your power really? Power is just one thing, man. They try to make it seem like it's everything, but it's not. It's just one department of your game. If you got it, cool. It can help you out. It could bail you out of situations. I know it done helped me in the past. I remember them being cooked in sparring sessions and you know what I'm saying, being able to land a shot and hurt dude and pretty much stop him in the sparring session. And I thank God for my power. You know what I'm saying? Because if I didn't have it, I would have been cooked that day. So I understand that power can play a part, and you can catch somebody slipping and all that good shit. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, if you in there with a motherfucker who you can't touch with that power, how good is your power really? Power is a great attribute to have, but it's not everything, yo. Especially at a high level. Shout out to the boy Aaron. He said Shakur could beat that boy into the ground. It's the same old black versus Latino stereotype. All races fight better when they slip punches. Zepeda ain't Duran. Don't get it twisted. We already know that, brother. Ain't nobody walking this God's green earth gonna compare Zepeda to no Roberto Duran. Shit. He hasn't accomplished an eighth of what Roberto Duran has accomplished. Roberto Duran is an all-time great, if we being honest. And look, Zepeda's dangerous. He's dangerous. You know what I mean? But I think he's just as vulnerable as he is dangerous. And I think Shakur Stevens is going to expose him the night of the fight. Read Twin comment. Let me see. Shout out to the boy Twin Lumar. He says, "You got you a new subscriber, bro. Just watched your talk on YSM Media. Yeah, if y'all didn't see it, man, I had just went live with YSM a little bit before that. My phone died. He got right off as soon as my phone died. So, I wasn't able to end the live, how I wanted to. But salute to the boy YSM Sports Media for always showing me love. I was supposed to pull up on him today, but I had some shit that I had to take care of. And by the time I took care of that, YSM was already done doing what he was doing. So we're going to link up another time for sure. You know what I mean? Zepeda faster, better than Duran, you drawing. That's straight foolishness. Shout out to the boy Aaron, though. I appreciate you coming through and showing love, my brother. So, yeah, man, that was William Zepeda's prediction. 10th round KO over Shakur Stevenson. Just based off of that, I'm assuming that he believes that he's going to take Shakur in the deep waters and drown him. I think that's easier said than done. But I think that's the exact mentality William Zepeda has to have going into the Shakur Stevenson fight, because if he thinks for a second that he could match wits with Shakur Stevenson or box with him or play chess with him in any type of way, he's an absolute fool. You feel what I'm saying? So I hope that he's preparing, having the training camp of his life, because this is going to be the toughest fight of his career, in my opinion. And I'm not saying it because Shakur is like this big champion, and I'm just speaking about the styles. And Shakur said he done sparred Zepeda when he was 16 years old. So that's another thing. He already done got a sense of who he is as a fighter. And I highly doubt that Zepeda has changed his style since he was, that young. I'm sure he's gotten better, but his overall style, I'm sure, hasn't changed much since then. So he already got an idea of what type Sean Zepeda be on. And, he probably done faced a lot of pressure fighters since then, and he knows how to go about them. He's faced pressure fighters multiple times throughout his career. Pressure fighters who are more accomplished, who have more skills. Like, let's keep it 1,000. And y'all tell me in the comments if I'm tripping. Oscar Valdez is a pressure fighter who has better wins, more experience, and might have just as good as skills as William Zepeda. Y'all let me know if I'm tripping. Not that Oscar Valdez that's out here right now, who's clearly on the decline, who just got stopped by Navarrete. I'm talking about the one who came off of one of the biggest wins of his career against Miguel Berchelt. What? Pack him up, please. Somebody pack him up. Jesus Christ. I don't know what type of time these niggas be on, bro. Just be kinky shit all day on that boss man D-Lo shit. Yo, niggas be wilding. But anyways, what? I must have conditioner. What that mean, brother? Shout out to the boy Aaron. He said, "You are right. Valdez was the business in his prime. Valdez was Smoke Zepeda in his prime." I mean, they had different weight classes, but I think that if Zepeda was at 130 with the style that he had, Valdez probably would have had the advantage over him, if we being honest. Because the Miguel Berchelt at the time that Oscar Valdez beat him was very dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Miguel Berchelt had a lot of, attention around his name. He was beating the fuck out of people, bro. Just really whooping ass. You feel me? They was building him up all crazy. And I was one of the people that thought Berchelt was going to beat Valdez. Like, I really thought Berchelt was going to beat Valdez, bro. And Valdez totally proved me wrong and put that man on a highlight reel. And Miguel Berchelt hasn't been the same since then. Slum says, in all seriousness, if Zepeda wants to win, he got to be effective with his pressure. Hold on, let me zoom in real quick, bro. All right, that's way better. In all seriousness, if Zepeda wants to win, he got to be effective with his pressure and cut off the ring and shoot his shots and combinations, in my opinion. Absolutely needs to shoot them shots and combinations and definitely cut off the ring. You know what I'm saying? Like, he definitely got to cut that ring off, but he got to give shit that Shakur got to worry about. He got to push something that Shakur head. We're like, damn, you know what I mean? I got to stay away from this. He really got to make this. He got to make this a really ugly fight, bro. He can't let Shakur establish his offense. You know what I mean? And that's gonna come with taking some shots. You know what I mean? You're not gonna just fight with Shakur Stevenson and not run into some shit. Shakur way too sharp to go a whole fight without hitting you clean. So he gonna hit you. So you gotta condition your mind to know, yo, I might get stunned, I might get rocked, I might get dropped, but that can't stop me. So William Zepeda got a whole lot of shit that he got to work on. You know, not only from a physical standpoint in terms of getting in shape, but from a mental standpoint in terms of like, you know, possibly facing adversity or whatever the case is. I just hope Zepeda don't, you know, get out box, you know, can't cut off the ring and be like, oh, well, Shakur was running from me. Because, you know, that's the new thing that guys do now when they can't, you know, keep up with an outboxer. Oh, he ran from me, man. And I don't want to face these guys who just run all the time. The whole time they get smoked on the scorecards and shit. You know what I'm saying? Great Gambino said, how well does Shakur handle potential knockout hits? I mean, well, Shakur hasn't been hit with a knockout hit, so there's no way for me to know how he'll handle it. You feel what I'm saying? Like, Shakur has done a really good job of not getting his chin tested. And they say the best chins are the ones that don't get touched. So salute to Shakur for that. But you know, that's a huge question mark right there, my brother. Gambino, that's a question that nobody really knows because you know I ain't gonna lie. The hardest shit that I ever see Shakur get hit with was in that Devin Haney sparring. Devin Haney cracked him with a hell of a shot, but that's just sparring. That's with protective gear. That's with 16-ounce gloves, maybe 18-ounce gloves. You feel what I'm saying? So you know that's sparring, and you know you're likely to take a better punch in sparring in comparison to the pros because in pros you got smaller gloves with no protective gear. So, you know, Floyd Mayweather done had his moments where he got cracked. Pernell done been in situations where he got cracked. A lot of these higher level guys have gotten cracked before and responded as a result. Shakur hasn't gotten to that point in his career yet where he's taking a shot that's wobbled him or hurt him, shot stunned him, whatever the case is. So we don't know. We really don't know. So, you know, could this be the fight where he gets cracked? I mean, possibly. Possibly. And we'll see exactly what Shakur is made of right then and there. Is he the type to fold when he get hit with a big shot? Is he the type to stand up to, you know, the challenge when he gets hit? Because we see motherfuckers get hit with shots and you know, they don't want no more, so they get on their bicycle like Ryan Garcia, hoe ass. And then we got motherfuckers who get hurt and they, you know, it's like the worst thing you could ever do to them because it just wake up a monster. Like Felix Tito Trinidad, now you went NUA, Marcos Maidana, the list goes on and on and on. So we really don't know Shakur's true character yet because he hasn't really faced much adversity in his career besides injuries. But even with those injuries, nobody has been able to, you know, take advantage of it and get a up on him on the scorecards. So we don't know. Shakur really hasn't gotten hit yet. He don't get hit for the most part. Yeah, man. And maybe Shakur hasn't. I mean, you can make a case that, you know, it's because Shakur hasn't really fought that high level opposition yet, but he's been doing everything in his power to get the high level opponents. You know, they just not looking his way, aka Gervonta Davis. Aaron says Shakur has a Sugar Shane Margarito moment and his homeboy on the ropes. Really? Really? If he stops Zepeda, that'd be interesting. I think Zepeda is going to hit the canvas, but if he stops Zepeda, considering you know he's an undefeated top contender in lightweight right now with a high knockout ratio, known for being durable, known for being tough. If he's able to stop Zepeda with the you know supposed pillow fist that he has, that's gonna shut a lot of people up. But you know they're gonna discredit Shakur for that. They're gonna be like, oh well, who did Zepeda beat? Oh, you know how that shit go. Y'all know how that shit go, y'all. Hit the likes, y'all. Hit the likes. Hit the likes for sure. Y'all like my pink chair? That's my girl shit. My girl a nail tech, so she be having these type of chairs to make motherfuckers comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Anyways. Pro up Dan, what up? Let's get into the next topic, man. That was great conversation, but I really wanted to focus in on this right here because it seems like it's becoming realistic, bro. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I haven't spoken to anybody on Jaron Ennis's team or anything like that, but considering the circumstances and what's going on in Boo's career right now, let me see. Now, this is a quote from Eddie Hearn because Jaron Ennis hasn't really spoken too much yet. He said the juice is assassin. That's funny. Boots hasn't really spoke much since the Stanionis fight, if at all. But this is Eddie Hearn's quote. He said, I think if Boots stays at 147, he will fight Teofimo. But if he doesn't, I think he'll move to 54 and he'll do it next for his next fight. So that's Eddie Hearn's quote. That's his thoughts on, Jaron, the state of Jaron Ennis's career right now. I want to know exactly what y'all think, man. Because when we really look over the situation and what's currently going on at 147, it's pretty ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's pretty ridiculous. You feel me? Because look, let's look at the whole situation that's going on with Brian Norman and them. They've been putting on their best act to act like they're interested in the fight, but in reality, they're really not. You know what I'm saying? We can go back to the very beginning when they tried to negotiate a unification fight. But they just wasn't budging on the bread. They made multiple counter offers, but it just wasn't enough for them. And they felt like it made more sense to fight Derek Cuevas on somebody's undercard in comparison to main eventing at the Wells Fargo for a career high payday. So he goes ahead and he disposes of Derek Cuevas. Jen Sasaki told y'all back in January that he had a fight booked with Brian Norman. They just had to win their fights. But Brian Norman don't want to tell y'all that the fight had all became confirmed after Jen Sasaki went up to Brian Norman and asked him for a fight and wrote him an English letter and shit like that. What's going on? Why you deleted Aaron's comments, Slime? He ain't say nothing crazy. What did he say? Anyways, back to the topic. Jen Sasaki told y'all back in January that he had a fight locked in with Brian Norman. He was gonna fight Brian Norman next or whatever. But they wanted you to believe that because Jen Sasaki came up with a fucking letter asking respectfully to fight Brian Norman, that they took that into consideration then, and then they made the fight happen. Man, that's all bullshit. We all knew that was fucking choreographed. Jen Sasaki and Brian Norman knew that was the next fight that was going to take place in Japan. They just want y'all to believe that he read fucking Brian Norman a letter, and then all of a sudden, the fight gets made like this, coincidentally, right after Jaron Ennis is done with the Stanionis fight, and they said, "Oh, what happened, man? Oh, Boots never mentioned our name. Oh, Boots don't need to mention your name publicly in order to make a fight with you. This dude, Brian Norman Sr., is acting like because Jaron Ennis didn't address his son's name publicly during a press conference and didn't say publicly that he wanted to fight Brian Norman, that's a cop-out. Nigga, stop it. Stop it. There's plenty of I done been behind the scenes. I done helped make fights happen. I've seen fights happen where a single word wasn't exchanged between neither fighter. Motherfuckers think nowadays that you gotta say something publicly in order for a fight to be made or for a fighter to be interested. Boots didn't run his mouth not one time when he was in the middle of offering you shit. He came out afterwards and told you that told the people that y'all turned down the fight, and it was true. You feel me? But he never came out during the midst of negotiations, was talking crazy to you publicly or telling people publicly he wanted to fight you. Bro, he don't need to do all of that. He have his team reach out to your team, ask you if you want to fight, and if y'all do want to fight, he'll send y'all an offer. He sent y'all multiple offers. Y'all turned it down. Y'all showed y'all true colors the first time. Now y'all saying, "Oh, after the Stan Yoda fight, Boots ain't never mentioned our name. He just said we weren't good. He never said he wanted to fight us next." You know that's bullshit. If they offered you a fight the first time, why wouldn't they offer it a second? What is we even talking about? Yeah, they dicking. They dicking. You know what I'm saying? So they said, "Oh, we're willing to fight Boots, but we're not gonna wait." Bro, you knew that his fight with Stanionis had just wrapped up, and you know that Boots won't most likely fight until the end of the year. So with that being considered, why he gotta jump right on you right away to get a fight going? And look, he even asked for y'all to lock in a fight with y'all. He had asked to lock in a fight with y'all while y'all was getting that shit done with Jin Sasaki because they want to get confirmation on their end that they got a unification fight on the way. Because they know y'all got a history of bullshit. They stepped up to y'all. They asked Top Rank, "Yo, what y'all doing after this Jin Sasaki fight? Y'all want to lock a fight in?" And they trying to make it seem like they not pussy. Whole time they hiding. They hiding behind, you know what I mean, little words and shit like that. Oh, we're not gonna. Oh, we will fight, but we're not gonna negotiate or agree to anything until our fight is over. Why is that? Why is that? Y'all trying to stall Boots out so he can make a move while y'all in the middle of getting a fight, while y'all in the middle of camp with Jin Sasaki. And y'all know most likely the WBA is gonna mandate Boots to fight the Giasov. And once they make that mandatory, oh, we was willing to fight him, but he gotta face his mandatory. Y'all know y'all full of shit. Y'all know y'all full of shit. Boots said he was ass. Yeah, I did hear him say that. He said, "Yo, he not good," and that's his opinion. Just like Brian Norman Sr. got opinions about Boost being vulnerable, and he thinks his son knocks Boost out. That's his opinion. All right, so Boost has his opinion that says that Brian Norman Jr. is not that good. Now I think that he has skills. What I mean, I think he's definitely improving. He got some good power. He's the youngest world champion in boxing right now amongst men. So you gotta tip your hat off to him in that sense. But I do think that he doesn't have the tools that Boots has. And I think that he will stop Brian Norman, just like how he stopped Stan Jonas. Yeah, I mean, I can see Brian Norman getting broke up between 6 to 7 rounds. He tough, he punch hard, he a dog, but all of that together doesn't equate to him defeating Jaron Ennis. It don't. They definitely need to lock up Southwest, but they've been moving real calculated. Their whole thing is, you know, uh, not coming across as pussy. You feel what I'm saying? They doing everything they can to make it seem like they not ducking, but they really don't want the fight. You know what I'm saying? Like if they truly wanted the Jaron Ennis fight, Jin Sasaki would have never been like on the table. Like, no, what the fuck are we fighting Jin Sasaki for when we can fight another champion at the end of this year? Why would we take the chance of fighting Jin Sasaki right now when we could get a unification fight at the end of the day, at the end of the year and get a stupid bag? Eddie Hearn done told y'all, yo, after this fight shit, Jaron Ennis' price goes up. I know that. So if Jaron Ennis' price goes up, most likely they're gonna have to give y'all more money than what they offered initially. And for what I heard, Eddie Hearn shot $2 million in Brian Norman in them direction, but they don't want to negotiate right now. And it take two to make a fight. It takes two to make a fight, yo. So if they not really like, if they we not we not locking in anything. Come on, dog. You see how the way like look at this. Look at this shit, right? Caleb Plant and Jamal Charlo already got a fight done. They already got a fight done for the end of the year. Fast. Anybody that knows what's going on, That's already in play. They just have to beat the opponent that's in front of them. Caleb Plant has to defeat Resendiz. Jamal has to beat Thomas Lamont, who I had on the show. Salute to Thomas Lamont. But that fight's already in play. So Brian Norman and them is making it seem like it's such bad business to lock in a fight while they're in the course of, while they're on course of, getting ready for a fight. Y'all acting like this is something that's like unethical or something that's like completely unheard of. Jamal Charlo and Caleb Plant doing that right now. They're in the course of getting ready for their opponents, in a couple and fighting them in a couple of weeks. But they already got a fight done for the end of the year. The only stipulation is they have to beat the opponent that's currently in front of them. That's it. They make it seem like it's so far-fetched. No, y'all niggas don't want to fight. You can agree and lock in a fight while you have a fight already in the works. And then after you defeat that person, then y'all can talk about, the money and shit after the fact. Because I was giving them the benefit of the doubt for a moment. It was like, yo, maybe they just want to defeat just Asagi, do some numbers over there, so that when they come back with those numbers, they can ask for more money out of Eddie Hearn. And that'd be smart. But, it's hard to trust the Normans, man. They be trying to be so slick, acting like, they not afraid of, facing Jaron Ennis and shit like that. Listen, Brian Norman Sr. is Brian Norman Jr.'s father. I have a son. Fathers know when they know their kids, right? I know my son like the back of my hand. I know when he's hungry. I know when he's tired. I know when I know everything about my son. I know when he, is happy. I know when he's sick, all that. The one thing that's just embedded in you as a father is to protect your son, bro. It's to protect your son. Especially if you sense some type of danger or a situation where you feel like your son can't handle. That's what Senior is doing. Senior think because he beat Greg, Junior could beat Boots. And in all honesty, bro, I had that shit a draw. I don't think he really beat Greg for real. That shit was competitive. And that shit shouldn't even have been competitive considering how small Greg was in comparison to Brian Norman Sr. Brian Norman Sr. can't rumble to save his life. Let that motherfucker fight somebody who got some skills and that's actually his size. That boy will be cooked. Greg don't got no business fighting at the weight class he fighting. He get away with it because he experienced it. He got skills. You feel me? Greg really like a 140 if we being real. I mean, like Greg really a 140. Brian Norman Sr. trash. Super trash. I got somebody that beat and he been retired for years. Probably been retired longer than Brian Sr. I got somebody that'll beat the dog shit out of Brian Norman Sr. whenever he want to fight. Same size and everything. But let's get into some open boxing topics, y'all. We ain't even really get into Jaron Ennis and Teofimo, but Eddie Hearn had his statements. Let me run that statement back for y'all. He said, I think if Boots stays at 47, I think he'll fight Teofimo. But if he doesn't, I think he'll move to 54 and he'll do it next for his next fight. That's Eddie Hearn's words. And you got to trust Eddie Hearn's words to an extent because he does, the promotion behind Jaron Ennis. They got a partnership. So he has a better understanding of what Boost may do next in comparison to us because he works directly with him, right? So he's saying that if he stays at 147, it'll most likely be for a Teofimo Lopez fight, which from what I've been hearing may take place in August. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. You feel what I mean? And like I said, I brought up the Normans because I'm letting y'all know that fight doesn't look like that's going to be something that's happening. Mario Barrios, he about to fight a 46-year-old Manny Pacquiao who's pushing 50 years old and coming off of a loss and a 4.5-year layoff and looked shit in the exhibition not too long ago. That's what Mario Barrios was doing. From then and there, they sent offers to Mario Barrios before. He's never wanted any smoke with Jaron Ennis. He fronted like he'll be the one to fight Jaron Ennis, but it ended up being Stanionis, not Mario Barrios. So, unfortunately, it looks like Boost isn't going to really accomplish that goal, become undisputed. So before he moves up to 154, he might as well go ahead and step on Teofimo Lopez. And listen, I told y'all on multiple occasions that I'm conflicted in terms of, a black fighter giving Teofimo Lopez an opportunity because in all honesty, I don't think Teofimo deserves the payday. I think he should be cut from the game. As quick as they are to, cut off black fighters and reprimand black fighters for their actions and stuff like that. They need to get that same energy to Teofimo Lopez. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of these dudes have gotten real comfortable with disrespecting black people and not receiving any consequences. And I would hate to see Teofimo Lopez make a bag off of a black fighter. However, I really think that's the only way that we could put Teofimo Lopez in a situation where he gets and faces the consequences of his actions. I'm all for teaching a motherfucker a lesson if they doing something wrong. You feel me? Or if they moving in a real foul way. Teofimo Lopez is moving in a really foul way, bro. What he's doing is beyond disrespectful. And the last thing I want to see is, Terrence Crawford, Gervonta Davis, or even Jaron Ennis go to jail for putting hands on Teofimo outside of the ring. You feel me? I don't want these guys to, catch a case or whatever the fuck, may happen as a result of that. Or somebody possibly, getting hurt. Anything can happen when, there's, multiple people involved or, somebody, just randomly being in the mix. Somebody could really lose their life on some real shit. You feel what I'm saying? So I would love to see, even though this may come with, Teofimo Lopez coming up financially, I would love to see somebody get in the ring and beat the dog shit out of Teofimo Lopez. I do. And I really hope that this fight happens. I'm not one of these motherfuckers that get all scary and but what has Teofimo Lopez done? What has he done? What has he done to deserve a fight with Jaron? We're not even about to take that route. Teofimo Lopez could have been an 0-20 and got knocked out 18 times. With that foul shit he talking about, I would love to see Jaron Ennis put hands on this man and break his whole face the fuck up. Tim Bradley, I see Tim Bradley out here doubling down, talking about how oh well, who has what elite fighter has Jaron Ennis beat? Bro, you're a fucking idiot, Tim Bradley. For you to be in boxing so long and still try to come up with those type of angles to try to discredit fighters is absolutely disgusting. This man Jaron Ennis has not responded to you not one time. He hasn't disrespected you not one time, but you keep targeting this man when you should be targeting the man, in all honesty, that has been making racist remarks towards your people. But you being the typical coon that you are, that's too much for you. That makes you too uncomfortable. So you rather go at the man that looks like you in comparison to going at the man that disrespect people who look like you. Ain't that some shit? Ain't that some shit? The coonery is insane, bro. The coonery is absolutely insane. I broke it down perfect earlier. Shout out to the boys Southwest Dice. Salute, salute, salute. Yeah, Smoochy out here putting the coon emojis up. Salute. Smoochy, you still don't got social media? That's crazy. You get your social media, you gotta follow the page. Bradley has been hating on Ennis for a while now. Yeah, but I gave him a pass. I gave him a pass because when he was discrediting Jaron Ennis, it was when he was bigging up Terrence Crawford. You know what I'm saying? So that shit just made sense. Terrence Crawford ain't had no racist situations going on. That's a black man just like Jaron Ennis and Tim Bradley himself. You know what I'm saying? So that was cool. But when this is just the timing of it all, bro. It's really the timing of it all. Like you choosing to big up Teofimo Lopez at a time where he is under hot water right now for racist allegations towards your people, and purposely degraded somebody who's never said anything bad about you, never disrespected you, and has done nothing but attempt to make big fights happen for his career. That's the man you choose to disrespect, not the racist. Not the racist. King Nadish. Let's pack him up. Let's pack him up. He a weirdo. Light skin look. Niggas stay talking about that light skin shit like that shit matter. Bradley knew he was wrong. I know Tio said all that racist stuff, but I'm here to talk boxing. He deflected away from Tio's comments so quick. Yeah, that's the type dude that Tim Bradley is because them type of conversations too uncomfortable for him. He'd rather just coon. And he find more pride in disrespecting his own people and coming at his own people, criticizing his own people instead of addressing the racists. Tim Bradley had multiple times where he could have really stood up for his people. For that Ryan Garcia situation, he was like, man, y'all be letting words get to y'all so much, man. Like, then we had Showbiz the Coon out here talking about, I ain't no nigga. I ain't no nigga, so he ain't talking about me. I ain't no nigga. I ain't no nigga. Fucking goofy, bro. Like, absolutely. Like, these media guys be so embarrassing, bro. They just, like, yeah, his eyes all like this and shit. Look like he done sniff a whole 8 ball and shit. He want to come over here and coon. Shit crazy, bro. Bro, I would love to run into showbiz, bro. I would love to run into showbiz. I swear to God, I'll press him right away. Showbiz actually made it to the zone. I mean, listen, he got a huge channel. He popular. Of course, he gonna get them opportunities. Bro, I'm my son, bro. If I ever seen Showbiz, I want to put hands on a nigga. He look like the type to sue niggas and shit. But I definitely press him. Like, yo, why you be moving the way you be moving, bro? Like, like, you being told to target black fighters or you just naturally a coon like that? I would dead ass ask him that. You over here trying, you want to appeal to the racists so bad. You want to appeal to the racists so bad that you willing to come up with a no running rule? How about a no PED rule? Man, I would full Showbiz, bro. You don't want this. He big. I know he bigger than me too. I was full Showbiz. A lot of these social media niggas, I'll beat the fuck up, bro. Only one I probably couldn't fade was Tim Bradley, and that's because that man was a world champion. Software said he paid to do it. I mean, regardless of whether he's self motivated and cool and again paid for it, he's still a coon. Stop motion said all PED cheats should be banned for 3 years minimum. Yeah, if they're not able to prove that they took it mistakenly, which most of them can't, they need to be suspended for 3 years. And I think they should be giving up their whole fight purse. Why do you deserve that fight purse? Why do you deserve that fight purse if you're taking PEDs? If you made 20 million for a fight, but you tested positive for ostarine or whatever, clenbuterol, whatever, why do you deserve that fight purse? You deserve to be penalized heavily financially for that. And I was telling people, yo, maybe suing these PED users and taking their fucking bread might be the solution to get these motherfuckers to stop using PEDs. What everybody say? Oh man, they just need to settle it in the ring. Why? So we could keep rewarding drug chiefs with more paydays? Make that shit make sense. If the whole objective is to make sure that PED users don't fuck with PEDs no more, how are you going to be able to hurt them? 6 to 1 year bans is not going to be enough because these motherfuckers only fight once or twice a year anyway. And then what y'all charging them? What, $10,000? They shit that type. They wipe their ass with that type of money when they making 7 to 8 figures a night to fight. Like seriously, like what the fuck is we even talking about? How about giving 3 year bans so you could really feel the effects of that inactivity and really understand what the fuck you did wrong and forfeiting your full fight purse? If you're not able to prove that you did this by mistake or anything like this. Like if you took this purposely, especially if you've been caught multiple times, like Dillian White, shit like that, you need to. And if you get caught again, you need a permanent ban. You need a permanent ban, bro. If you tested positive multiple times, like fucking Alexander, what's his name, Povetkin, Alexander Povetkin, or whatever fucking name is, get them the fuck out of boxing permanently. 2 strikes and you out. That's the type of shit that showbiz could come up with, and I'd be like, you know what? I respect that. Big Baby Miller. Yep. Him too. He not exempt from the smoke. No PED user is exempt from the smoke, bro. I don't give a fuck who it is, how much I was a fan of them, whatever it was. 2 strikes and you out. How about coming up with that rule? Motherfuckers are so worried about boxing styles. Listen, Devin Haney, was that the most entertaining performance? No. Could he have done more? Yes. But it's Jose Ramirez's job to make the fight competitive. If somebody's giving you a style and you're not able to neutralize that style or make the guy fight another fight, you deserve to lose because you don't have the ability to adjust. You're not on his level, bro. Like, what the fuck is we talking about? Alicia Bumgarner, she's a drug cheat. Fuck Alicia Bumgarner. All she gotta do is put a fucking bathing suit on and show some ass and titties, and y'all back on her dick. That's not me. I never been that type nigga. If you wrong, you wrong. Man, Alicia could fail for every drug test. I'll still suck a fart out her ass. I bet you would. I bet you would. Y'all niggas is like we cut different, bro. I'm sorry. And she not even the best looking female in boxing right now. And y'all just glazing her. Strong faced bitch with a bubble butt. Okay. See, pro up there talking about she's still cold though. Ain't nobody call her ugly. I never called her ugly. I said she a drug cheat. I think it's crazy. But yeah, man. Yeah, bro. That's how you know these niggas don't really stand on business for real, bro. Who did she click up with? Derek James. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? Lorenzo said Alicia looked like Shane Mosley when he fought Winky Wright in one of her picks when she was on that stuff. Yeah, bro. Traps all big bicep. Bitch biceps look like they was on 22. That's why I said she looked like the bitch Scott Steiner. Why the fuck her bicep look like that? See, I don't even got big biceps. That bitch biceps is bigger than mine. What? Nigga, off his mind. Shout out to the boy. Wait, who smacked him with the wrench? Shout out to the boy Stop Motion for smacking him with the wrench. He was wilding. Yo, for real though. I ain't never had big biceps, but yeah, like her shit was on diesel. Anonymous said she's out here looking like Vladimir Klitschko. Facts. Dead ass, bro. But yeah, bro. Motherfuckers' priorities fucked up. 03 Brock Lesnar is crazy. But do I want to see Teofimo Lopez get awarded after going on racist rants and saying derogatory shit towards black people? No. But do I want to see him get his ass whooped by a black fighter? Yes. So if I gotta, see him come up financially in order to see him get taught a lesson, then so be it. Can't have it all, right? So fuck it. Let's see it. Before boots go up to 54, go ahead and beat the shit out Teofimo Lopez. If you get a win over Teofimo Lopez, that's a 2-division world champion, former unified world champion. You feel what I'm saying? So fuck it. Let's see it happen. Let's see it happen, bro. Fuck it. You know, Jaron Ennis could come up off of Teofimo Lopez's name. That's a solid name. And he can go into 54 and, you know, make history up there. Low-key Hitches and Tio in New York would be fire. I don't know if Tio want that though. That's a black athletic boxer that knows how to box. That knows how to use movement. I don't know if Tio want that. Because he don't know how to cut off a ring. He tried to go with Canelo and them to learn how to cut off a ring, but after they turned him down, he was like, "Oh man, I don't got that type of style anyway. I'm not a flat-footed boxer anyway." So now he over here disrespecting Canelo and them. I want to see Tio versus Prime Hearns for all that racist shit he be on. Woo, Prime Hearns and put that boy in a coffin. Would have sent that nigga to the morgue. Prime Tommy Hearns? That right hand would have touched Tio. That nigga would have been snoring before he hit the canvas. Tio be cabbing. He definitely do be cabbing. He a pussy too. You know what I mean? Because when he get pressed, it's just for promotion, bro. It's just for promotion. Yeah, I know. Hold on, Smoochie said she got me on TikTok. What's your name on TikTok? I don't be on there though, bro. I only go on there like when my girl send me something, or like if Zuma TV clips put a video up. Yeah, T.O. a groupie. T.O. definitely a groupie. That's probably why his girl don't respect me for real, because he always got another nigga dick in his mouth. You know what I'm saying? That's probably why his girl don't respect him. Oh, this nigga, he a groupie. This nigga brought his own belts to a Canelo press conference so he could take pictures with him. Like, what type groupie shit is that? Y'all remember that? T.O. was swearing he was going around telling everybody he was undisputed. This motherfucker came with, this nigga purposely brought all his belts to a Canelo press conference so he could pose and take pictures with him. Like, oh, this nigga is like, he, not only is he delusional, like he's such a groupie. Like he want to be on that level so bad. He want to be recognized like these dudes so bad, but he just ain't got it. He just ain't got it. You say he was acting like a Make-A-Wish kid. Damn. Tio asked Canelo to autograph his belt. I wouldn't be surprised. Imagine that. You earned them belts off of your hard work, your consistency, and you know, just being a boxer all them years just to have another nigga sign your belt. Like that, like for all that, you might as well just pull the nigga dick out on stage and just slap yourself with it. Like that's how I look at it. You really a hoe ass nigga. You really gay to me doing some type shit like that. Like there's no way you do that and say you like women. You might as well let the nigga mollywop you. I ain't gonna lie to you. Just like you might as well let the nigga teabag you in front of all the media. That's how I look at it. Like you not really a heterosexual doing shit like that. Ain't no way I work hard to become world champion. You know what I mean? To make a name for myself and stamp myself in the world of boxing. You know, to finally get these belts sent in the mail to be like, I'm gonna let Canelo sign these belts because I love Canelo so much. There's something about his red hair and his freckles that just really gets me going. Shout out to the boy Lorenzo at the $2 super chat. He said demonetized. I don't think that was bad enough. I don't think that was bad enough. I didn't say the F words. I think I'm okay. I've said similar stuff and still you know, been able to chill and get monetized still. EA Lop says, why so much? Oh no, I gotta read this. Shout out to Stamochi though. Why is so much hate against Tio? Berlanga used the N-word. Other Latinos, he disrespect Crawford, Tank, but not y'all. This is boxing. Stop being so dramatic. Yeah, this is boxing. And there ain't no space for the racist shit that goes on in boxing. Do I agree with Berlanga saying the N-word? No. But I would rather take, and I think, you know, the black people that's in the chat, y'all let me know if I'm tripping. I don't think he should be saying it at all. to be honest with you, because he's not even he's not even an Afro Puerto Rican, if you understand what I'm saying. He don't come from African ancestry, you could tell. You know what I'm saying? He more like one of those fat Joe Puerto Ricans, the white skinned niggas that, you know what I mean, don't even got, any type of Afrocentric features. But regardless, this dude said he's trying to make it seem like the way Berlanga used the N-word was similar to how the way Tio used the N-word. It's not the case at all. It's not the case at all. Everybody knows that the N-word with the ER at the end of it is a lot more disrespectful than the ones that, the regular N-word that's heard like in rap songs and, people just use as a term of endearment. I disagree with it regardless. I've even been working on using the word less myself, just considering what my ancestors have been through. But regardless, telling me to stop being so dramatic, tell your mom to stop being such a whore. How about that? You telling me to stop being so dramatic. Tell your mother to stop being so dramatic when, stepdaddy Fred coming through and making her bite her pillow every night. And you got to hear it while you in the other room trying to tune it out with music. How about that? Since we telling motherfuckers to stop being dramatic. Tell your mother to stop being so dramatic when she putting the whole thing in her mouth and she can't breathe. How about that? Some things to think about. I'm sure there's a lot of dramatic shit that goes on around you that you don't address, but you worried about me on my channel. Tighten up, son. Tighten up, son. I don't know if your father ever told you that before, but you definitely need to tighten up, brother. Shout out to the boy Cal Bundy in the building. What up? Let's get into some open boxing topics, y'all. What we talking about? What we talking about, brother? Brothers, what we talking about in the chat? Hold on. It's so funny when Lorenzo send those super chats and be like, demonetized. I don't think I said anything too explicit. Keyshawn and De Los Santos. Oh, I actually had seen a comment. Hold on. Let me address that comment that was said earlier because I got distracted. I get distracted pretty easily. My fault. But I think somebody said, is De Los Santos getting knocked out? Yeah, Pro Up Dan said it. It's possible. It's definitely possible because I think they catching De Los Santos in a moment where, he's at one of the lowest points of his career. He's coming off of a loss. I think it's a 2-year layoff at this point, and he's coming off of an injury that could have been extremely detrimental not only to his career but his life, fucking with blood clots. Blood clots could be very serious. That could lead to some health issues that could ultimately lead to your death if not attended to. So, Edwin De Los Santos, I don't know exactly why he decided to jump right into a Keyshawn fight after a long layoff and health issues. But that could mean multiple things. Maybe he needs the money. Maybe he's been in the gym really locked in and he really believes in his abilities moving forward. It could be several things. But in all honesty, it's possible. Keyshawn has been more active. He's sharper. He got more momentum on his side. And he's fighting Keyshawn in his hometown. So that's another thing. The pressure's going to be on Keyshawn in terms of like the hometown setting. But it's even at the same time, it's even more of a tougher obstacle for De Los Santos because if you're fighting on Keyshawn's promotion and Keyshawn's hometown, if any of them rounds are remotely close, they're giving it to Keyshawn. We already know how the politics of boxing go. You feel me? So, I don't know if he gets knocked out, but it's possible. You feel me? So that's just what it is. Anonymous said, thoughts on the Figueroa and Joet Gonzalez fight that'll be on the Barrios Pacquiao undercard. That's a good fight. That's a really good fight. Figueroa versus Joel Gonzalez. First of all, shout out to Brandon Figueroa for coming back in the mix after, taking a pretty bad loss to Stephen Fulton. You know what I'm saying? Joel Gonzalez ain't no joke. I think that's going to be a very entertaining fight. They like to let them hands fly. You know what I mean? They like to apply that pressure. For those of y'all who don't know who Joel Gonzalez is, or may not be too familiar with him, Shakur Stevenson, I believe, won his first world title at 126 pounds, off of a fight against Joel Gonzalez, who was his brother-in-law at one point in time. You know what I'm saying? So I do got waves, brother. I do got waves. I don't be wearing a wave cap or nothing like that, but I got waves. I done had that. I got wavy hair, bro. But I didn't notice that. Y'all remember when I never knew what type of hair I had until who was it? That little weirdo that used to be in the chat. His name was like Tom or something. He was like, "What's your hair type?" Or some crazy shit like that. And I had actually looked it up, and I was like, "Oh, I got wavy hair." I never knew I had wavy hair, bro. So that motherfucker told me to do a hair type test or some shit like that. So then when I started brushing my hair, my shit started getting wavy. I'm like, bro, how the fuck I never noticed this? But I'm never the type to really brush my hair or be big on waves anyway. So shout out to the boy Tom for making me realize what type of hair I had. Man, I don't fuck with the wave caps and all that shit. I'm not big on waves, brother. I just want to make sure my hair, like, I look clean. That's all I really care about. You know what I mean? That wave shit, that shit was cool, like, during high school. Niggas pushing 30, bro. I got a pink do-rag for when I braid my hair. I bet you do. I bet you do, Slime. You be on your Miguel Cotto shit just wearing pink shit for no reason. Yeah, I remember that. I remember Delo Santos was supposed to fight Frank Martin, but I guess a better opportunity came about, so he decided to go with that one. Either way, it would have been a tough fight. Shout out to the boy Derek, the Maestro Moore. You know what I mean? Coming off of a layoff, he looked shitty sharp with sparring today, man. Shout out to the boy Derek Moore. He said, "Man, I got a bow head." Yeah, I know that's right. My boy came back like Jordan. Came back like Jordan with 4-5 on the jersey. Motherfucker, I got a bow head. Y'all see that nigga Tyrone? Y'all remember that dude? They used to be on social media. Yeah, Miguel Cotto was telling us for real that he was on the down low. You know what I mean? Niggas ain't want to hear him though. They're like, man, that's Cotto, man. He don't move like that. Shit. Tripping. Cotto been on the down low. That man used to that man used to stay in Manchester for training camp and still was sleeping in the same bed as his fat homie. I don't know what type time they was on, bro. Cotto was a little freaky ass nigga. Y'all remember that shit? Floyd Mayweather even made fun of him for that. He said, yo, he's sleeping in the same bed as this dude. He said, I thought Miguel's last name was Cotto. He said, I thought his last name was Cotto. His last name Buttman. I was like, damn, that's crazy. Floyd was calling him Cotto Buttman. You knew what type time Cotto was on. What y'all thinking about that Puello Matias fight? That's the fight I'm looking forward to the most, bro. I ain't even gonna lie to you, bro. I see Matias training. He looked like he already in great shape, bro. I was watching like little clips of him, shadow boxing and shit. He looked fast. He looked strong. You know what I mean? Go get the money. What up? When every new tat he would get, he would add more pink to his trunks. Facts. But Puello and Matias, bro, I'm excited for that fight because it's just a great style matchup. You know what I'm saying? I heard Lamont Roach Sr. Saying how he believed Puello gonna outbox Matias, and look, that's realistic. You know, Puello is a really good counterpuncher, bro. And what makes Puello dangerous for Matias is big on momentum. You feel what I'm saying? Like he's big on momentum, and the more momentum he gets, the more dark it get for the opponents. Puello has a counter punching ability where he could really disrupt Matias' momentum. You feel me? And you know, if Matias can't really establish his offense or get off how he usually does, it could be a long night for Matias. However, if Puello, you know, falls victim to Matias' pressure and gets hit with some good body shots and starts folding up and, you know, starts getting defensive, Matias could probably stop Puello. And I tell you what, if Matias stops Puello, that's really going to be a big statement in the division. All I know is Richardson Hitchens somewhere celebrating. I know when he saw that deal, when he saw that fight get made, he was like, oh, yeah. He said, oh, yeah, I ain't got to worry about this nigga Matias no more. That nigga straight closed his laptop. When he read that shit, he straight closed his laptop. It was like, God damn. Thank God I got that Puerto Rican nigga up off my ass. Pause. That's all I know. That motherfucker was like, yo, babe, pull out the red panties, baby. Pull them red panties out. We gonna celebrate tonight. He said, I got that dark skinned Rican nigga up off my motherfucking back. You know what I'm saying? Me and this nigga almost the same color. I ain't know Ricans got that dark. I don't want to fight that motherfucker. That motherfucker, he punched hard. He put pressure. He done caught a body in the ring. I don't want nothing to do with that nigga. I'm a Brooklyn nigga, but I ain't cut like that. He was like, man, fuck all that. He was like, remember when Pinky was in the record? You remember when Pinky was in the record store? He said, I was scared, but I held my own. Fuck that. He said, I was scared to the motherfucker, but I held my own. Fuck that. That was Richard Hitchens. You know what I mean? That nigga was checking them rankings. And that nigga kept refreshing that rankings page, just hoping Matias got up off that joint. Like, yo, that nigga still number one, bro. What the fuck, bro? Sheesh. Pro up there says, do you think Loma will fight again? I think so. I don't think you're going to hold on to that belt that long to, you know, not fight. You feel me? He probably got a little bit more. I think he probably going to try to get one more John done. You feel what I'm saying? He probably going to end up fighting Keyshawn, to be real with you, but I don't know, man. I don't think you're going to hold on. If he held on to this belt this long and just retire anyway, then that's like, that's just a dickhead move. You feel me? Like, that's just some asshole shit. Like, if you knew you've been retired all this time, you just need to go ahead and get rid of them belts. Woo! Yo, Anonymous said, Brad Goodman says he's trying to get either Nicholas Flies or Blair Kosh for Polanco next. What do you think about those fights? They're both fucking great fights. Listen, I fuck with Nicholas Flies, bro. Nicholas Flies could fucking rumble, but I see why Brad Goodman's looking for that fight with Polanco. Nicholas Flies is very active, and with Polanco being a big puncher, he could find a lot of opportunities to catch Flies. Blair Cobbs, they seen that fight with Alexis Roca, and they probably feel like Polanco could break Blair Cobbs down, you know, as the rounds go on. But Blair Cobbs is sneaky, bro. Blair Cobbs just came off the biggest win of his career. You know, he's now he just signed with a new manager, from what I saw, and he's a promotional free agent now. So I see why they're looking for that fight right now. But you know, I think Polanco could beat both of them guys. Polanco, I do think he needs to tighten up defensively, and that's kind of what worries me with the Blair Cobbs fight because he does throw sneaky, punches. He throws sneaky punches from weird angles that you can't really anticipate. And by the time you see it, it's probably already landed. And Blair got some sneaky power as well. So, Polanco could definitely tighten up his defense. I don't like that little Philly shell he got. I think that shit trash for real. I think he need to tighten up defensively a little bit, but he got power. He mean as fuck. Polanco is very mean, bro. Um, and he got dog in him. You feel me? You go to the body good, he be in great shape, and it's just nonstop pressure, pressure, pressure. And he don't seem to get discouraged even when he gets hit. So Polanco, he got some developing to do, but he's they believe in him, obviously. I'll tell you that. They put him in there with Fabian Maidana, who's, he done been around the block. You know what I mean? They put him in there early in his career. He passed with flying colors. So the fact that they try to get him in there with Blair Cobbs and Nicholas Flies, both of those guys are dangerous fighters in their own right. So he said Polanco got the Mondongo shell. Yo, that's funny. But they believe in him. I think he meant to say Mofongo shell. Regardless, that shit is hilarious. Or did you mean Mondongo? Polanco beats the shit out of Barrios right now. He may based off of what I've seen in his last fight, I think he can. That's how weak Barrios is, bro. That shit is sad, bro. That's sad. But if Brad Goodman is looking for Flies or Blair to fight Polanco, they believe in Polanco, bro. Because both of those guys are dangerous. They could fuck their money up. So, they like what they see and they feel like he ready for them type fights. So that's a good job. I hope that he can make the fight. I know what Mondongo is, but I didn't know if you misspelled it or what. I know exactly what that is, brother. But he said, Stop Motion said, I could name 15 welterweights that beat Barrio. Shit, I could probably name at least 10. I could name guys at 140 that could beat Barrios right now, too. Is it true that Mayweather got a $500 million debt? I don't know. That's not boxing, so I really don't care. Like Mayweather a fighter, but him being in debt, that's his business. You know what I mean? That's really pocket watching for him. So I like Sancocho too. My dad had some. My dad be eating that shit, and I be you know, I be wanting to try it, but I don't be wanting to fuck with his food. Pro Up Dan says Barrios needs to train with RGBA. For those of y'all who don't know, that's Robert Garcia Boxing Academy. But a nigga like Virgil probably stops him at sparring. Barrios would definitely get stopped at sparring by Virgil. That's a terrible style bench up for him. But yeah, man, that'll be a good fit for him. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Barrios showed me signs of a fighter who has trouble making 47. Like how the way he burnt out midway through the fight against Abel Ramos, it kind of gave me like drained vibes. You feel me? Like left his fight at the gym type shit. You feel me? So I don't know. Let's get one more question before we get up out of here, y'all. Slime said, Mark, if you don't know Mondongo, it's pig, ear, feet, stomach, and snout. If you ain't know, all made into a soup. That's fucking disgusting. I heard of Mondongo, but I didn't know what was in it. I remember I was in Puerto Rico with my son, mom, right? This was like 2022. And we pulled up to like a random bar. And we pulled up to a random bar, mind you. Neither one of us spoke Spanish that well at the time. So we couldn't really communicate with the people all like that. The people that was in the bar. We was in the middle, like we was in the trenches in Puerto Rico, bro. So they gave us the food and shit like that. I was eating or whatever the case is. She had ordered some random shit. And I'm like, yo, don't be ordering shit if you don't know what the fuck it is. Like, you spending my money to just try shit. Buy something that you already know what the fuck it is. She went, ordered some shit. Now, I forgot what the name of it was, so let me try to look it up. she had ate something by the name of Langua, some shit like that, right? Now, for those of y'all who know what that is, she didn't know what it was. And she eating it, she like, yo, this shit tastes weird. Like, what the fuck is this? Whole time it was cow tongue, bro. She was so mad. And I'm like, yo, that's why I told you to order food that you already know what the fuck it is, because you don't be knowing what the hell these people be making. You know what I'm saying? She had a whole cow tongue, bro. Was eating cow tongue. She was pissed. She called her dad and all like, man, they had me, man, I was eating cow tongue. It was so nasty. I'm so grossed out. Dumbass. Like, fucking, it was the dumbest shit in the world, bro. And I had to hear that shit the whole night. Like, I can't believe I ate that. Bitch, I can't believe you ate it neither. I can't believe you ate it neither, but you did, right? Dumb as hell. Yeah, bro. Was sitting there eating cow tongue like a dickhead. Swore she had picked some fire shit. Whole time, I stick to what I know. You feel what I'm saying? I like my chicken, my carne guisado. I like my pollo guisado. You know what I mean? I fuck with pernil. I fuck with all of that. But if I see some shit that don't look familiar to me, or I never heard my grandma say she made before, I'm not eating that shit, bro. Like it's like I'm not one of those dudes, especially if I'm putting my bread up. I mean, I'm not trying some shit that I might possibly not like. You know what I mean? Because what if I try it, I don't like it, and they be like, oh, well, you know what I mean? Ain't no refunds. I'm burnt for my bread. No, I don't like blood sausage neither. I know what you're talking about, though. We was just talking about that the other day at work. No, I don't fuck with blood sausage. I'm gonna keep it real. I don't really be eating a lot of that Rican shit. Morcia, yeah. That's what you talking about. I don't like that. That shit trash. Nah, can't fuck with that. I like my patelillos. Well, I don't know if y'all call them empanadillas or patelillos, but I fuck them Jones up, bro. My mom used to make a fire ass pizza patelillo, bro. That shit was so good. She used to get the ground beef with the spaghetti sauce. My mom would make like 10 of them Jones. And them Jones all gone by the end of the day, bro. The beef Jones, the chicken Jones they were making at the corner store with them Dominicans. Fire. I fuck with steak heavy too. What's that shit called? Beat that emboyado. Fuck with that. Whether the Dominicans or the Ricans make it, that shit fire. Um, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. But I'm gonna get up out of here, man. I appreciate everybody that came through and showed love to the channel. If y'all can go ahead and hit the like button on the way out, that'd be very much appreciated. Empanado. No, that's not what I'm talking about. Empanadilla. But yeah, you in Connecticut, so they got a bunch of Ricans over there. You know what I'm saying? I was out in Massachusetts in Lowell, and they known for like the Asian population and shit. Cause my girl, she Cambodian, and they had a little Rica spot, bro, and that shit had like 4.5 stars. I was like, let me go check this shit out. But I'm gonna send you what I'm talking about in the I say boyada. I'm gonna send that shit to you in the chat, Slime. I'm gonna get up out of here, man. I appreciate everybody that came through and showed love. If y'all can hit the like button, that would be very much appreciated. We on the road to 3K, and we just hit the 2.9K mark. So shout out to the nation for that as well. You feel what I'm saying? Y'all have a blessed, beautiful night. I'm up out of here, man. Peace.